everybody. It is another beautiful day in the New Hampshire woods, and I'm pretty excited because I noticed some scat on my walk. Ooh, 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 ooh. Scat! Yes, I love noticing scat because it's a clue about what animal has been here. What are they eating? Where are they going? Scat is part of tracking wildlife. So oftentimes you'll hear people say track and sign, and that includes footprints, scat, little nibbles from branches of a deer or a rabbit, or maybe some crunched acorns lying on top of a log. It's all important information to help you understand the habitat around you and who's living there. Now, I got excited to notice my scat. It's super small. I had my owl eyes turned on, so I noticed it. And come take a peek. I'll show you what I found.
All right, everybody, it's hard to see, but right here is a little bit of scat from a mouse. I was surprised I even noticed it. It's so small, but this is what inspired me to make my own scat today.
Pretty cool, huh? I don't often get to notice mouse scat because it's so very small. I don't even really know how I noticed this. I just happened to be looking around these rocks. And with those owl eyes, you can notice a lot. Just letting you know. Now, because I noticed some scat today, I got inspired to do something I do with a lot of the kids I work with, which is designing scat based on an animal you dream up in your brain, in your imagination, or based on an animal that you like and you're trying to learn more about. Now, this is super simple to do. All you need is some dough of some kind. I made up a little salt dough, so just flour, salt, and water. I'm dropping it all over me. But you could use Play-Doh or any kind of dough that you have at home. Then you also need some materials to act like the plants or the animals or the berries or the bone bits that would be found in an animal's scat. Now, I did forget to mention, normally I use some cocoa powder in my salt dough and it makes it look a little more scat-like. But I didn't have that at home, so I'm going to have some tan scat today. And usually when I do this, I have access to yarn and beads and things like that. So often I'll cut up some green yarn into little pieces, and that will act like the vegetation or the plant material found in scat. Since I don't have a lot of my materials with me at home, I just gathered some natural materials. So I decided that my animal is going to eat plants and bugs. Can you think of any animals that eat plants and bugs? And what would we call that kind of an animal? Not an herbivore. Herbivores eat plants. Not a carnivore. Carnivores eat meat. An omnivore, so plants and meat. Now, for my pieces of plant and bug, I chose little hemlock needles. These look just like little bits of plant material in scat. And then I noticed, I don't think I have a, oh, there we go. I noticed these little hemlock cones lying right next to me, and I ripped them up, and they look just like little bug exoskeletons that you might notice in scat. So, once you dream up what you're going to make the scat of, and remember, you can dream one up in your head. Maybe it's a cross between a deer and a salamander, and your deer salamander mix only eats meat. And so you have scat with bone pieces and maybe feathers in it. Or you could choose a real animal and get to know it a little bit better. But once you decide that and you get me your materials gathered, you get me your materials ready, all you have to do is mix them up and make your scat. So I'm going to take a little bit of my dough here, and then I'm going to sprinkle in the pieces that represent what my animal eats. So we got a little bit of plant material here. All my nice hemlock needles. Oh, perfect. It looks just like some scat. All right, add a few more in there. And then I'm gonna sprinkle in my hemlock pieces, which are my little bone or my little exoskeleton pieces, not my bone pieces. All right, let's sprinkle those in too. Rip them up a little bit more. And then mix it up. So I'm gonna smush it and mush it and gush it. And you can see it starts to look like scat with little exoskeleton and little plant pieces. Now, what's also cool about scat is that different animals leave different shapes and sizes of scat. So maybe your animal leaves small, little, round scats, kind of like a deer or a rabbit. Or maybe it leaves longer, kind of hair-like pieces of scat, like a fox. Now, I think my animal, who eats bugs and plants, is going to leave really small pieces of scat in a nice big pile. So I'm going to make my scat, clean up my mess here. And when you're doing this from home, you could have the whole family participate. You could make a whole big field guide full of all of your different kinds of scat. I actually did that one year with a class. We made a big cardboard field guide with all of our scat on it, and it showed what our animal was, what it ate, and what its scat looked like. It was a ton of fun, and it helped us learn about a whole bunch of different kinds of animals. So let me keep mixing my scat together here, and then I'll show you what I came up with. Now, I think it's important to mention, I keep saying scat because we're scientists, we're naturalists, and when we're our scientists or naturalists, we don't say poop, we say scat. All right, everybody, I think I have my scat the way I want it. Let me show you what I came up with here. All right, can you see my scat? So that is the scat of an animal who eats bugs and plants and leaves scat in little round balls in a little bit of a pile. So when you're at home, get to know the animals that live in your neighborhood. Go out looking for scat. Do some research. Take a field guide with you, and then try and design some scat based on the animals that you got to know. This can be a lot of fun, and it really helps teach you all about what animals eat. And if you do it with the family, you could all learn about a bunch of different animals. So have fun, get out there, take a scat walk. Most importantly, stay curious about what's going on in your neighborhood, and I'll see you soon. Ooh, 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 ooh. Bye, everybody.